And this live stream is not going to be for like a movie-related live stream or an unboxing live stream. Sadly, my August 2022 DVD and Blu-ray haul is not going to likely happen until September. So, because still got some new, I think I've still got some new other releases to buy. Still, I mean, I know Northman, Lost City have come out on DVD. I still maybe thinking of buying Lost City to rewatch it, see if my opinions have changed tonight, but I definitely do still need to buy the Northman. I know Fallen Kingdom has still come out, no, not Fallen Kingdom, Dominion has come out on Blu-ray early while I was away. The reason I say while I was away because this is going to be the subject of the live stream. But I did get Dominion, but I'm going to show that to you when I do that live stream in September. And I'm around my DVD back around the other place. So anyway, this live stream is going to be about my trip. Yes, so guys, the reason I was not on YouTube again last week was because I was away on my first trip in years before COVID had happened. So yeah, pretty much what it does is I went within my province, just up north. Yeah, usually when I was like younger, we do this family tradition every summer where we go up north, and I kind of started to get a little lonely, and I realized I hadn't done any trips for a long time, and I started to get kind of lonely the whole summer. So I decided to book a trip to August up north to see some family members I had not seen since COVID. So yeah, that's why I was away and not posting videos for a whole week. But now that I'm back home, got home yesterday, this is going to be how my trip to what is believed none other than called the Kissbox or Hazelton or Northern BC goes. So, it all started August 14th, got up around 6 a.m. to pretty much, or 5 a.m. I believe, had breakfast, well, I had showered August 13th because I couldn't really shower in the morning. So yeah, got up that time around Sunday, August 14th, had breakfast, made sure everything was packed, and all that, and made sure I wasn't forgetting anything. And I also got this new portable. I will go get that. Right now, wait, there, you guys. Okay, I'm back. Voila. I also got this portable a week before for the trip, so I could still watch some movies and not be a little bored up there because the north doesn't really have a lot of internet, but there you go. Yeah, it looks bigger than what they used to look like around the older times. So yeah, I used to have another portable before this one, but it died, so I had to replace it, sadly. But yeah, I got a new bigger one. Bought that on the trip, did watch some DVDs, and then, but yeah. Anyway, so yeah, after that we called an Uber driver, drove up to the airport, went through the usual stuff, and yeah, and then we got on the plane just fine. The plane flight took about an hour to get there, got there with no problems, and so after that, we then drove up to all the way to Vanderhoof, just caught up with a few family members who lived there for a little bit, had lunch with them, and then we went back on the road for 5 more hours, and eventually, after a 5-hour drive, we got to the cabin I was going to be staying at, and pretty much I just really had Mr. Noodles pack for dinner and then just kind of dozed off and went to bed because I was really tired from the long day. But then the next day, on Monday, was kind of a chill day at the cabin. Nothing really much happened around like the morning or afternoon, just chilling there, enjoying the peace and quiet, enjoying a little break. And then around I think after lunchtime, for lunch I had another Mr. Noodles pack, but then after lunch around, I think around 2 p.m. or 3 p.m.-ish, and went to a store called Red Apple, where I got some DVDs that I am going to show in the September 2022 DVD Blu-ray haul. I mean, the one for August anyways. I mean, you'll find out what those are, but yeah. Red Apple had some pretty cheap DVDs for some pretty good prices, I gotta say. I kind of wish they were here, sadly, but sadly they're not. They're just up north, unfortunately, but oh well. Also went to a bakery that had some pretty great delicious pastries as well. And then after those visits, went to the grocery store, got quite a few groceries for the week because we were out of food there. We just didn't really have the energy to grocery shop that day, so we just kind of went home had whatever was easy to make, and then just went to bed that previous day because the drive was so long for like 5 hours or 4 hours. But anyway, so yeah, we got our groceries, and then after all that was over, and we went back to the cabin, had some barbecue for dinner, and oh, I even got a s'mores kit because we have a fireplace up at the cabin. Roasted some s'mores, and there's also a lot of bloody mosquitoes up north too, so that's also a problem. But yeah, after the barbecue dinner, then I had s'mores at the fireplace, and then after that, went to bed, ended Monday, and then came Tuesday. Around like lunchtime, near 11 a.m. ish, we went to the little town, like it's an hour away from the cabin, called Smithers. Went to a pub, went to this pretty cool pub for what was it? Oh yeah, lunch. Had a pretty great lunch there. Had some pretty well done chicken strips and fries, and the chicken strips are very well done. I forget the name of the pub, but very great pub, I gotta say. So, yeah. Anyway, after lunch, walked around town, and there weren't really much souvenir-like shops, but there was another good bakery there. Got this great bag of some pretty well done cookies, and there was also this place that had some old-fashioned candy too. Like there was this jelly bean chocolate bar, which is basically a flat piece of chocolate bark with jelly beans on it, and those crystal rock candy, also great. So yeah, had those, and then after that little wander, drove back to the cabin. Same kind of thing as usual. Like I forget what we had for dinner. Oh, we had pasta for dinner that night with mixed with some veggies, and another fireplace time, and then Wednesday. Then the next day, Wednesday, went to look at some totem poles, take out some bottles that were at the cabin, and then of course, well, took out the bottles first, then we visited the bakery again, then looked at the totem poles, and then after we looked at totem poles, we went to a little place called Old Town within the area. It's basically this town that's kind of now. They used to have a lot of shops there, but now all the shops are just gone. The whole place is kind of just a tourist attraction. But there used to be so much more when we used to visit down there. But pretty much it's pretty much now kind of a deserted museum attraction. Only places that is really there now is just kind of a liquor store, and I think the library might still be there, but that's about it. Everything else is kind of just gone. And yeah. And then after that, two other relatives came by to the cabin. I went down to a lake with them. Went down to a lake after dinner with them. Once again had barbecued hamburgers and hot dogs again for dinner. And then catched up, drank a beer or two. Then we went down to the cabin. And the two relatives that were visiting the cabin that night were fishing. I just kind of sat my feet in the lake, but sadly there was no like sand at the bottom. There was purely rocks at the bottom, so it was really, really impossible to kind of really swim there when you don't have water shoes. So I didn't want to step in there anymore because stepping on rocks is not fun when you're going to a lake. And then after like they were done fishing, we then drove back to the cabin, and then kind of just sat by another fire, finished off the s'mores pack, and then went to bed because I had to go back down to the area we stopped at on the very first day we had arrived up north. And then, so next morning, drove back with two, when I came to riding back with either two relatives, I drove the first half of the road with one of them, and then we stopped at Smithers, had some coffee, and then swapped rides with the other relative, and yeah, this ride back to the Vanderhoof area was a little longer because there were too many bloody construction points at the road. So this one actually took an extra hour because of all the dumb construction stuff. But after all that painful jazz, and finally made it to Vanderhoof, stayed with my grandma for the final 3 days of my trip. So pretty much these two cousins of mine were having this 4-H thing, so we stopped by to visit the 4-H thing. That's because of this country fair up in Vanderhoof that was going on over the weekend. And then I watched the other cousin at this basketball camp, I think final game of basketball camp of the week. or the final basketball camp session of the summer. And then after that, I got dropped off back at my grandma's, and then the rest of the time was just kind of chill. That's kind of about it. There was nothing else really that day, so after a while, I just went to bed. Yeah, and then next morning, I just kind of chilled out at my grandma's house most of the day, because I was just kind of, I think I was just exhausted from the ride all the way there, and it was like really, it was much hotter up there than it is here. Like holy crow, was the weather boiling those final 3 days? Like, oh my god. But anyway, chilled most of the day. Walked, took her dog on a short walk near her house, and kind of came back. And then then I just chilled, and I then went to dinner at this great pizza place called Cozy Corner around the Vanderhoof area. And then I visited this really old theater there called Grand Real Theater, and I saw DC League of Super Pets. And if you're wondering my opinion on that movie, it was not bad. I gotta say, it was all right. If I wanted my score for it, it would have to be maybe a 6.5. That would be my score for DC League of Super Pets. And then after that, I just went home, and then went to bed, and then Saturday, the final full day in the area, I then spent like the morning and lunchish time just chilling out, packing up my stuff to get ready to go back on the plane the next day, and then making sure I hadn't forgotten anything, going through my backpack and suitcase again, making sure I'm not leaving anything behind. And then 3 o'clock, Grandma came back to pick me up, visited the country fair for a little bit, and then and the 4-H thing for a little bit, and then after that, said goodbye to my other relatives, and then headed the road to go to Prince George to stay at a hotel for the night. And then we had some. Well, by the time we got to the hotel, we also had Carl's Jr. for dinner. We were going to go to a restaurant, but sadly every restaurant was just full around that time, so we pretty much had to go to Carl's Jr. But then the staff, well, unfortunately the food was good, but the staff of this location weren't very pleasant. But we're not going to get into that details. But the point is, after that, we took our dinner back to the hotel room, had that. I showered for the night because I couldn't shower the next morning because I had to quickly get to the airport to go home. Then, after that, after I had dinner, after I showered, had dinner, I brushed my teeth, and then just went to bed. Called the parents I was visiting to figure out like flight details or flight details I wasn't sure of, and then went to bed. 4 a.m. or 4:20 a.m. Got up, had a quick muffin and a juice box for breakfast on the road to the airport, and then got to the airport. Now the airport in my area for getting up north on August 14th was good. It's this airport I had a problem with. So, how did this one go? I get to the airport to go print my pass, and I'm waiting a ridiculous lineup. It's almost time to board the plane. But no, everybody's taking forever. And it turns out and there was this other section called Star Alliance Gold Line. Turns out I could have went there the whole time, but I didn't go there because I thought it was for first class. So that's why I didn't go in that part. I thought that was for the first class people, but turns out I could have went there the whole time. So I managed to go in there, got my ticket printed quicker, and then ran straight to the security because I had to get there fast because I didn't want to get left behind and miss my flights because I had to go to work today. I still had to go to work this week. Go for security. Realized I forgot to take off my sunglasses on my shirt. And then the bell. And then I go for security. Crap. And then I go wait for the flight. And I realize it's 5:30. The gates haven't even opened yet because apparently it's also foggy. This served as another problem. For not just me, for a lot of other people. And they did open the gates, so and once I was sure it was the flight back home, to make sure I wasn't getting on the wrong flight, I get on the plane, sit in my seat, and then it turns out for nearly 2 hours. I had to wait in the plane because they refused to take off in the fog. Basically, they were waiting for the fog to clear up, so I was almost waiting for 2 whole hours just to finally fly back home inside the plane. This even serves as a lot of problem for other people as well. Other people had other flights they had to transport to because they weren't just going back to my area. Some people were going to other areas. They just had to go to Vancouver just to get on those other flights. Oh my god, like, several people even missed their flights and had to reschedule. But anyway, back to that. But once like 7:40ish thing, the plane finally took off. There was like no problems. I almost thought like the plane was going to be out of gas. We had to fly back down to fuel up, but thankfully that did not happen. The rest of the flight just went smooth. Once again, it took an hour, not that long. And as soon as I got back, I got on this SkyTrain like thing in my area to go back here. And then the rest of the day, as soon as I got back, I washed all the clothes I wore in the washer, and I had to wash all the clothes I wore on the trip and stuff. Unpack my portable, unpack the DVDs I bought, put them somewhere so I can pack them when I go back to the other place. But yeah, the rest of the day was just chill. Well, of course I still had to get groceries for the week because I needed lunches for work the next day and because I was going back to work this week. But yeah, other than that, the trip was pretty good actually. Other than that one problem yesterday, no other problems for the rest of the trip, and the trip was actually pretty good. It felt good to finally travel again after so many years of not being able to. And I was very glad I took the opportunity to finally travel because I really needed to get out of the area for a little bit, and I felt so lonely too. So, but yeah. Anyway, that's pretty much how my trip went. So anyway, what is going to happen? Well, tomorrow I'm going to review Night at the Museum, Secret of the Tomb, because I finally rewatched that last night. And then I'm probably going to do a top 11-ish. I think it's going to be a top 11. I think top 11 worst something of all time. Not sequels. Like, it's going to be a top 11 sort of genre, worst 11 certain genre movies. I need to decide the genre first, but we'll see how it goes. But other than that, yeah, I will be reviewing Night at the Museum, Secret of the Tomb tomorrow. And so then, guys, that'll be it for this live stream. Thank you all for watching. If you like this, want to see more, and don't forget to like, subscribe to Don G. Corleone.